am looking at 3 different places at the same time as I let people into our Zoom rooms. I've got a couple of Zoom rooms happening today. So I've got eyes on 3 different screens. Bear with me 1 second as we just make sure that everyone can see. Okay, I think we've got people admitted who are waiting. Beautiful. Welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome. So we're talking today about the shift, going from exhausted to energized, and I'm going to do my best to get this these ideas to you within the 20-minute time frame, that 20 to 25-minute time frame that we promised. So I'm on Gadigal land. That's really important to me because as we are sharing stories here today to help you to grow and build and be your full, operate at your full potential, stories have been shared here for 175,000 years by the oldest civilization on Earth. And yeah, so that's important to me. I'm on Gadigal land. I'm not sure where you are. So I'm Kath. Lovely to be here with you. I'm going to shake things up a little bit today. I'm not going to give you a lengthy introduction or a detailed background on the theories and time management principles. We are going to dive straight into the pragmatics of moving you forward. Because your time is precious, I do want to make sure that you're in the right room. And let me just grab one thing that I've dropped. Okay, beautiful. So if your primary solution to a problem is working harder, you're in the right room. You need to hear this. If you find it hard to switch off at the end of the day, if you feel it's hard to muster the energy either, well, at any time of day, you're in the right place. If you feel guilty about your contribution, either as a leader or as a mum, you need to hear this. And if you feel like you've worked really hard and you're a little disappointed that the rewards haven't quite followed through, or you're at this stage of the year and you think, generally I feel that the rewards are okay, but at this stage, I'm just, running on empty and I would like to be further along than I am. If that's you, or if the road hasn't been as easy as you'd expected this year, then this is for you. This is absolutely for you. So my goal is to help you to tap into your top 30. Really simple. But what does the top 30 mean? So the top 30, let me give you an example. So I never enjoyed running. It felt like hard work. It felt like I felt like when I was running, I moved like a snail. Like I was really not making any progress at all. Like I'd be much faster walking. It felt like I could feel the pain in every part of my body. My lungs would burn, my throat was dry, my head felt the knock of every step on the pavement. I've got a PT, Matt, at Move with Matt, and he's got this industrial space above a bakery. It's a crew that's quiet but motivated. He's brilliant. Matt's brilliant. I've never worked harder than I do at a physical workout, and yet it feels effortless. It feels effortless. With Matt, I'm operating at this higher level. So Matt is a brilliant coach. I'm operating at this higher level, but it feels effortless. I'm contributing more. I'm putting more effort in. And yes, I'm putting more work in. I'm getting much better results, but it doesn't feel as hard as when I was doing it alone, trying to go for a run. In comparison, I can plainly see that in my old running attempts, I was trying so hard, giving it all that I thought that I had, but actually only giving it 70% and feeling miserable about it. So I don't know if you hear the clue there, that a lot of the magic in working at that 30%, in that top 30, a lot of that is actually mindset. A lot of it is mindset. It's about where your focus is. So let's shift back to those of us in the room. Successful career builders, mostly parents, largely women. Have you ever attended a leadership event? Have you ever attended an event where you were super inspired by one of the guest speakers and they described these fabulous outcomes? They've got this highly engaged team of stakeholders. They diligently make time to work out. They've got fabulous kid stories. Their career is soaring and they are loving life and seemingly doing it easy, like that duck on water. And maybe you started out inspired, and then maybe they hit a little bit Maybe you hit a point in the presentation. I think my necklace is tapping the microphone, my apologies. Maybe they hit a part in their talk where they started to mention that they had, you know, a team of nannies and cleaners, and you know, that point in the conversation where they say, I couldn't do what I do without my husband. He's just amazing. He's such a great helper. He took paternity leave. He sets the decisions around the household work that needs to be done in the house. He takes control of what he sees, as in, it's not all my mental load, you know, that sort of decision. And you go, right, that's why this person's so successful. That's why they seem to be doing it so much easier than I'm doing it, because they've got this extra team behind them pulling the strings. Let me tell you, the nanny isn't the difference. All of those things will certainly help, but the nanny is not the difference. Those things are not the difference. There are 5 key fundamentals that successful leaders have in place that allow them to operate in their top 30. That's the place where it feels like it's running smoothly. It looks effortless, like the duck on water. It's inspiring because it feels good, like whole of life good, with results, and the rewards are there. You know, you're present for your downtime, you're impactful in your work time, you're well rewarded. So what are the 5 shifts? I'm going to walk you through the 5 shifts, and I'm going to share some actions you can take immediately that fit into a couple of these shifts. My suggestions are not going to take you more time. They're actually going to give you time and sharper focus. Because really, I can give you the best of leadership strategies to increase engagement, to better understand your stakeholders, to push back, even to build your bravery. But if you don't have the time to apply them, then nothing's going to change. So we will be working on that today. Your energy and your time. Fixing your time will help your energy, and so will the mindset stuff that we're going to work on today. So let me see. Where's that forward button? There it is. Okay. So the first thing is just to choose one thing, to choose one clear focus. We're not going to delve into that today. Partly because of the time of the year that we're at, and partly because our focus is, largely because our focus is elsewhere within these 5 today. So the one thing, choosing one thing to focus on, is really incredibly important. In the last 2 years, I wrote 5 books. Actually, there were 4 were mine, and one was a collaboration with 23 other fine Australian businesswomen. Every one of those books went to #1 bestseller. The 5th one, with the collaboration, actually went to the Oscars. It was included in the red carpet goodie bag at the Oscars. So Denzel Washington, Dame Judi Dench, Billie Eilish, Nicole Kidman all have copies of that book. So exciting. It's still very fresh. I don't know that I'll ever get over the buzz of, oh my God, what? With this book. Very cool. Okay. So I did all that in the last 2 years, right? Now, and I mentioned to you, I'm a mum. I do all these other things. That's writing those books is not my day job. That's not my day job. It's not my full-time gig. It's not my day job. I'm a coach. I teach mindset and leadership skills. Actually, I'm a multi-award-winning coach. And as I said, author of these books. So these books talk about the standout skills that you need for unshakable courage. 3 kids, 2 have ADHD. I have PTSD that sometimes feels like an extra baby that needs attention from time to time. I have a boyfriend, I've got parents, I've got a mini griddle. When you choose the one thing, all the other things don't get forgotten. The wheels do not fall off, but you do have to make space to allow for that one thing to happen. And that's where we're predominantly hanging out today, in this space. And the next one, mindset, because letting go in order to make space, it's not as simple as making a decision. So it's not just like saying, okay, ta-da, make space. It's not like, you know, pulling out clothes from your cupboard and saying, there you go, there's space in your wardrobe now. It's more complex than that. It's not as simple as making a decision. Well, it's extraordinarily simple, and there are very simple steps that can have a huge impact. So let's have a look at one of those. This first one I absolutely love, and I love it because it has such a big impact on the clients who use it. So it's really simple. Pretend that you're on leave. Pretend that you are going on leave in 2 days' time. So this shifts your perspective immeasurably on what's actually urgent to a more realistic view. The things that were on your radar, on your list when you had all the time in the world because it was February or March or even August or even October and getting skinnier, the things that were on your list then, they get a more accurate assessment of whether they're actually urgent, important, or whether they're not. The impossibility of delivering everything, when you think about, when you pretend that you're going on leave in 2 days, the impossibility of delivering everything is going to force you to confront what really is the most urgent, important, and what are the things that you would just really like to get done to be able to say that you've done them, or because that's an ideal world scenario, as opposed to the world that you're dealing with, the world that you're living with. So that's the first one. Pretend that you're on leave in 2 days. I'm not going to delve for very long into these because I do have a few to get through, and I'd love for you to take the strategies, to hear the strategies, to be able to work out which ones are going to work for you. So as you're going through, I hope that you've got one eye to which of these strategies you're going to take on and implement. All right, next one. Some questions to ask. So you've got that mindset of, you've got that perspective of, I'm going on leave in 2 days. Different shift. Questions to ask for each task on your to-do list. Does it need to be done? And does it need to be done by me? So does it need to be done? Does it really need to be done? And does it need to be done by me? Some of these nice to have tasks don't need to be done. Sometimes they'll be picked up by other people. Sometimes by the time you get them done, they'll be obsolete. So does it need to be done? And does it need to be done by me? Okay. Next one. Let's shift to mindset. So don't be asked it means at risk of self-doubt. Asked is an acronym for, it's a cheeky acronym for at risk of self-doubt. So don't be asked means you've got this. Don't let doubt get in your way. You've got this. But it's not as simple as it's not just a one-line mantra and ta-da, there you go, another magic wand. There are some things that you can do to make sure that you are not at risk of self-doubt, to make sure that your mindset is rock solid and serving you in the ways that you need it to. Okay, so this is the mindset work where you remove resistance, where you stop hating the tasks that are going to deliver you what you want, like box squats. This is celebration. Mindset is celebration. It's that lost art of celebration that's critical to energy for yourself and for those around you. Celebration is so important. And we are going to touch on that shortly. So mindset is where you shift your habits from attributing your success to luck to shifting to where you attribute your success, your consciousness, attributing your consciousness to where you've done great, shifting your consciousness to where you've done great. So let me walk you through some specifics. This is what you came for. The first one is sleep. Quite often when you are absolutely under the pump, sleep is the first thing to go because you often borrow time from that resource. There's like this block in your day where nobody else is placing any demands on you. I'll borrow from that time to get my to-do list done. So give yourself the best chance to navigate your day. Give yourself the best chance to navigate your to-do list. Give yourself the brain, the best chance to operate. And make sure that you've got the sleep that you need, This is not a full session on sleep. I would strongly recommend, if this is something that's a hot point for you, do some research, reach out to me, happy to send you some resources, find some podcasts, but work out how to get the best sleep that you need to make sure that you are navigating in the best way possible, that your brain has full functionality. All right, next one. This one is, it's act as if, but kind of. So act as if is often used to describe that situation where people kind of pretend that they've got success, where they, and I'm a huge advocate for it in certain contexts. So this is where you don't feel confident, but by performing in a way that, like, pretend that you're confident and you'll soon be able to pull it off. So that's where it's normally used. Act as if what I'm talking about here is when you're feeling great. So when you are feeling energized, what are some of the behaviors that you use? Those are the behaviors that I want you to take on. And I want you to take on those behaviors, not because of how it appears to somebody else, but I want you to take on those behaviors because of how it feels to you. It's about giving you the energy that you need. So what are the behaviors that you might show when you're feeling great? I want you to replicate those even if you're not feeling it. Let me give you some examples. It might be clothes, accessories. This is a really important one, and it's one that's kind of feels like stepping on ice when we're talking with women about gender equality. To be talking about clothes when we're talking about gender equality, clothes are often a thing that it's almost like a banned topic that we shouldn't be talking about clothes because that takes us away from our genuine contribution. But in actual fact, clothes can be a powerful tool for making you feel differently about yourself. So for instance, let me give you a specific example. When you're feeling great about yourself, often that's when you will wear things that are a little bit more showy. Like, for example, you may have, I've got some, chunkier necklaces that I tend to put on when I'm feeling great and I have all the prep time in the world and I am feeling fabulous and wanting to look my best self. There's jewelry that I put on that's chunkier and more, it brings more attention. It brings more attention. And it kind of says, when I look at that in a photo, I go, wow, it looks like I'm more confident. It looks like I'm more energized. It looks like I'm showing up. I am here for business. I'd like you to think about the clothes and accessories you wear on your good days, the ones that make you feel fantastic. Put those on in the next month. So we've got a month left of this year, and probably less than a month left of your working year. So in that next month, think about what are the clothes and the accessories that you can wear that make you feel fantastic, and incorporate more of those into your working day. And if you're working from home, still incorporate those into your working day. If it's not your working day, into your afternoons, if it's usually bras off at 4 o'clock, and you feel fantastic with your bra on and a great shirt on, keep the shirt on, keep the bra on until whatever time it is that you want to be energized till, think about how your clothes and your accessories match your mood. Thank you. Yeah, a few laughs in the chat box. Thanks. Glad it's hitting a point for you. Okay, think about how your clothes and accessories affect your mood, and make a conscious decision or a conscious effort to bring more of those in to help you to feel that way, not just because you feel that way. Okay. The power pose. Amy Cuddy's power pose. Are you familiar with the power pose? Gosh, some of you are really quick with those waves and the hands up. Thank you. Yes, so the power pose. Amy Cuddy's power pose. And I've just dropped out one of the chat boxes. I'm so sorry. Oh, sorry. So the power pose, if you're not familiar with the power pose, definitely look it up. In fact, if you look up body language power pose, Amy Cuddy, TED Talk, it will come up straight away. It's one of the top most watched TED Talks of all time for really good reason. So the power pose, often when we are feeling great, we tend to stand differently. We stand more confidently. When you're exhausted, you tend to slump, you tend to be hunched over at your desk, over the laptop. You tend to be hunched over and slumped and sitting differently. The power pose is a brilliant way to help you to elevate your energy, increase your cortisol levels, your risk-taking hormones, and decrease your stress levels. So it's a really fabulous way to use your physiology to benefit your neurology. So definitely look up the power pose. If exhaustion is something that you are fighting, power pose is going to help you enormously. Okay, food, social, physical, these are all things that I'd like you to think about. So what are these things which parts of food, social, physical do you do differently when you're feeling great than you do when you're feeling exhausted. This is things like, you know, the comfort foods or the, you know, social engagements fall onto the back burner because you don't have time for them. That's not a priority. When you've made space for what's most important, these things can still happen. And it might not be that you're doing them 3 nights a week, but if you've got one in the diary for 3 weeks' time, that's definitely going to give you a little bit more of an energetic lift than if you don't have it at all, because you're walking around saying, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. All those things are most important to me. I don't have time for. So schedule them so that you can look forward to them, even if you can't get to it now. Okay. And celebration. This is the did great habit, celebration. When you are working through any kind of, whether it's change, whether it is any kind of fatigue, celebration is one of the first things to go. Bring back celebration. Look at where you've trod so far. Look at what you've achieved today, yesterday, this week. Look at what you've achieved this month, both within your own sphere and for those around you who you influence. Look at the impact that you've made. That is absolutely going to give you a significant boost in your energy levels to keep pushing forward. Let me check the time. Okay. We're on the edge. Okay, so let me push through this. So prioritize the symptoms of success to return to success. Number 4 is the toolkit. So there's 5 leadership fundamental shifts. Number 4 is a toolkit. That's having the ability to, you know, the communication, the EQ, the adaptive skills to be able to, for example, push back without it being a career limiting conversation. This daily planner that you may have seen me use, one of the tools that I'd strongly recommend is at the bottom of my daily planner, I've got this little bit at the bottom that says, what do I need to celebrate today? What did I do that was great? Where did I did great? Terrible grammar, great book. And on the right-hand side, the prep and support, what prep and support do I need for tomorrow? So what do I need to celebrate and what prep and support can I call on to make sure that tomorrow is an easier day, that tomorrow is not as draining to get through. Number 5 is the coach. So those individuals who I work with who operate in that top 30, they all have a coach. They all have a coach, whether it's myself at the time or whether it's another person in their world who stands as that person who can, you know, that objective me plus, the person who's not emotionally attached to what you're working through, the person who's got the vision and the foresight to be able to pull together where you've been, your strengths and abilities, and apply it to your current situation to help you to apply the best of you to your current situation for the best outcome. So what's next? What action will you take from the things we've talked about today? What action steps will you take? What will you put into place? Which of these tools will you borrow? I can't wait to hear. Drop me a message and let me know. If you would like to book the next step with me, if you'd like to book a strategy call with me to make the next step happen, to, you know, build courage and capacity without burnout, then jump in and you'll see a text message from me shortly that gives you a link that says, thanks for coming, because I really appreciate you being here, and gives you this link. So thanks so much for being here. There's a ripping crowd here today, and I've had a few messages from people who couldn't make it today but are going to catch the replay this afternoon. So thank you so much for being here. Enjoy the rest of your lunch, and I will chat with you soon. Take care.